Hello. Coming in on Facebook and on YouTube to just spend a little bit of time with you. Figure out what we should talk about. I'm just waiting to see if I'm up on all the places. I am not seeing my Facebook be connected here. So I'm just waiting. Oh, here we go. Now I have it. So, of course, like many times, there's no announcement that I was coming live. So I'm just going to kind of give it a little bit of time and let people kind of join in. Hello, Mary. Welcome. And so I'm coming in to kind of ask, what would you like for me to start talking about? Like, I'm going to start recording some new YouTube videos and stuff. And is there anything in particular in my YouTube videos that you would like for me to talk about? Also, to just, say that in the Academy, in More Than Existing Academy, we have got a whole bunch of offers right now. A lot of them are free. A lot of my previous recorded courses are now free. Lisa has some options in there as well that are in the Academy as well in human design. And we have got a large collection of stuff that is available that you can go in and study under me or under Lisa. Or you can also get your astrological sign and get all of the gates for the human design that go with this year, plus get all the information about your sign and I mean like the archetypal energy, the angelic connection, all of that is available on the More Than Existing Academy. If you go to mteacademy.ca, it is all listed on my screen as it's scrolling past, but it's also on the in my bio, and it's also on the on the Corrie Thorne/Cameron.com. It's kind of everywhere, so you can check it out. I don't know if I'm as dark. Hey, Lindsay. My screen was looking dark. I had to fix it. So we have all these previously courses I've taught before, not my More Than Existing program. That is not in there. That's not offered as an option, but there is other options in there that you can take, that you can go in and listen to. Many of them are free. We just posted a bunch of free ones. But there's also some that are like very massive discounts on, but your astrological signs are in there. And I also put the yearly forecast for 2025. That was for each sign. That was in the Academy this year and not on YouTube. I just did the 1 year, the whole year cluster, the other one. But I'm going to start making some new videos for YouTube. And I do have another new course starting in September, and that is the mystical realm archetypes and being able to incorporate the working with the archetypal energy and recognizing archetypal energy. And that one is coming up. The mystical realm courses are phenomenal. Yes, I have to agree with you, Lindsay. They are, those are some of my favorite. And we just released I think it's the bottom of the sea. We just released the bottom of the sea. I think it was last week. That one is now also available. And then, of course, all of my all the previous soul revival courses are available. So, yeah. So we have lots happening. Howdy, Anne. And Sherry, hello. And Brenda, hello. And so tonight, what would you like for me to talk about? I'm stopping in for a moment. I was just down in my garden, so it just stopped raining. It has been pouring rain here. We have not had the sunshine. We have not had any of that. It has been pouring rain for days here since Saturday. It was all like Friday night. I think it started in the middle of the night, all day yesterday, pretty much all day today. The sun just came out. So I just came back. So excuse if you can see like dirt under my fingernails. I was down in my great big garden bins, like they're massive, and they're so big that I can't weed in the center of them without climbing in. So I'm in a dress down in the down in the gardens, picking out the weeds in the center. Like here I am in a dress up there, like, and it's just mud everywhere. And yeah, so I was down picking out some weeds and some beets and or not beets, some radishes. So that's what I was just doing. And I had set this all up and I was going to come in live. And then I'm like, I'm not ready yet. I got to go outside. I got to go for a walk. Same here, mushrooms everywhere. No fairy rings. That is so crazy. I have not seen any fairy rings at all this year so far, Lindsay. None. I walked all what's grassed in my yard. I walked the whole yard and I could not find any fairy rings. And last year my yard was in Lacombe was covered in fairy rings. I had fairy rings everywhere. But yeah, no, I haven't seen any any. So I wasn't really pulling a bunch of cards, I don't think, but I was, topics to talk about, as a general, what would you like for me to talk about? We'll see where the cards go. I did teach today, so I am still in, I'm in work mode. Tomorrow is my actual day off. Hello, everyone who's joining in. Um, yeah, and so, yeah, no fairy rings, but Lindsay, I did see some little people in the bank behind my house. So they will come with the heat after the rains. Oh, okay, Miss Sherry. Thank you for that. I figured they'd come with all of the rain. I did get a new mushroom though. Tracy was here visiting on the weekend, and Tracy and I went to Canadian Tire because she wanted to buy me a housewarming present. And she's like picked something out. And so I seen there was a flamingo there, like she had bought me a couple years ago, but my granddaughter broke it in like the first 2 days or something. And so I'm like, I could get that again. She says, no, I feel like it's a bird bath. Like I feel like I want to get you a bird bath. And I said, well, our bird bath broke, our big mosaic one. It blew over in the wind and it broke. And she said, yeah, that's what I feel like. And I'm like, okay. And so then I seen a bird that lit up and all kinds of cool things for the yard. And we walked around the corner and there was a mushroom bird bath. And it has like a gnome that's just like relaxing behind. So we did bring home a mushroom bird bath and put in the yard. So we have one big red mushroom in the yard, but it's not a real mushroom, but it's pretty magical looking. Um, hello everyone. Happened in my backyard last year. You were the same thing, Sherry. Yeah, we haven't had I can count on one hand how many nice days we've had here where I'm living in July. Honest to goodness, and I'm a heat lover, and most days it's barely been 20 degrees. Like it has been not, and that's I have not seen this since I've been living down this way, and I've been down here for a few years now, but it's usually very nice, always warm. We have not had that. I think I have seasonal I have seasonal disorder and I struggle with not having the nice weather. And so it's been crazy. I'm like, oh, bring on the sunshine, but we're supposed to get more rain. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. Anyone else feeling the same way? Anyone else going through that same thing? So is there anything, you can write this in the comment, is there something that you would like for me to talk about? And I can talk about things here, but I'm going to do some recordings and do some new recordings for YouTube, and not just my energy updates. I'm going to be doing some recordings, what I'm going to channel some information and channel some talks. And so if you've noticed, my energy updates have been really blended in more than existing. Like all of my energy updates are now called the more than existing energy updates. And they've been talking about destination happiness and talking about that purpose versus significance. And this weekend's energy update was this weekend's energy update was about that, was about significance. And it was like, it's such a big conversation that the guides were bringing me, because we have that Mercury in retrograde and it's in Leo. And of course, Leo is really looking at the person. It's really about the mirror reflection. It's about seeing self. And so it is about seeing the value of self. And I spoke in the energy update. I just felt that need to share like my story, and how after my back surgery, or during my back surgery, I had an outer body experience. And I knew, and I kept telling everyone in my circle, I just kept saying, I'm going to die during back surgery. I know they keep telling me I'm going to die, but I'll come back. I'll be back, but I'm going to die. There's something going to go wrong. There's going to be some sort of glitch, and I'm not a negative person, and I'm not a doubter. I don't even research. I don't go on support groups for anything I'm having, and I don't go Googling to find out anything that's wrong. But I said, I heard there's going to be something happening in my back surgery, and something is going to go wrong. And they're going to kind of lose me on the table, and I'm going to be drifting. I'm going to be in heaven. I'm going to come back though, but I'm going to die. And in that experience, has anyone else had one of those experiences where you had the outer body experience, or you've had like that near death experience? Write it in the comments. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. And so I, during the experience, it was just like, you've done everything. You've kind of done everything on earth you need to do. Like, you have lived your purpose. And what I have discovered was that I had lived my purpose. Like, I've done all the things that I came here to do. But to come back here and to live in this next phase of my life was to really learn how to be alive, like to really live my life for me, not for my work, not to be always caught up in work and being a workaholic, but to live and embrace living and to be alive. And what I really realized was it was about significance. It was about recognizing and seeing that I was a significant part of a lot of things in life. And in my natal chart and in my Lilith, which is the soul revival I'm teaching right now, and why I decided to teach that was in my dark moon in Lilith in my natal chart, is that I have the outsider syndrome, and that I'm often either discounted, misunderstood throughout life, kind of like forgotten, like that type of thing. But that recognizing that I've been a significant part of a lot of things, and that I've achieved all the things like that I would have to achieve based on your soul's destiny here. And that the rest was for me, it was like a bonus life. And that I was to come back and live a bonus life, like come back and do things that really make you like, that really bring value to your life, that make you feel happy, that make you feel alive. And if it doesn't, don't freaking do it. Don't do it. That's just, if it doesn't bring you joy and it doesn't bring you happiness, then just don't do it. And it will become magnetic. And that was kind of I couldn't come back and just be here for other people, or my purpose for being alive couldn't just be to be a mom or to be the thing that everyone else needed. It was for me to recognize that I don't have to keep finding or keep trying to build on some sort of purpose. And it was for me to really feel and exist in the significance part of life. Like, understand, study significance. And then all of a sudden, the energy this weekend all tied into that. And so it is all a part of all the books I've been writing. I've written 3 books. I've written 3 more books in the last 2 years. I don't know when you're going to see all these books come out, because they're all handwritten. We're editing a book right now called The Way Home that I wrote when I lived in Leduc. And so we're only at the 4th book. And so I've been writing all of these books about my own journey and the healing. And this is where the energy is right now. And it's going to continue for another little bit, but really recognizing it. Yeah, the spiritual aspect of perimenopause and menopause. Okay, Lindsay. So I've also been asked to teach this because I have gone through perimenopause and menopause all while going through this spiritual journey, that an emotional journey that I have been on. So I will record something for YouTube for this. Yes, I will. Absolutely. So let's go there for just a second, right? And outside, yes, outsider syndrome. Interesting, right, Carla? Um, get your natal chart. If you have not downloaded, like, and I don't mean just your birth chart, if you go on Cafe Astrology and put in natal chart and do your full natal chart, it'll give you like description. It'll tell you where all the planets were at the time of your birth. It'll give you your full natal chart. And in it, you'll see where your black moon and Lilith is. It'll show you where Lilith is and what planet's in, and then what house it's in, and then all of the aspects, the conjunctions, all of those things. And it's good to know all of those things, and it tells you more about yourself. And so it is the shamed part of self. It is the part of self that is hidden away. There's so much to learn about that self. And so we're doing the soul revival on it right now. I just taught the second class. But if you don't know your time, you put in 12. It'll give you, like, you'll just use 12 o'clock. You just can't get your ascendant. You just can't find out what your ascendant is, Carla, but it'll give you almost everything else. Everything else that you need. Actually, you can message me. I can help you get it. It's pretty easy to get. So you can just send me a message and I'll send you the link, exact link. And then you just put everything in, and you just won't get your ascendant, but you know your Lilith, you'll know those aspects. Yeah. But okay, let me go back up to Lindsay's for a moment. So yes, so about the spiritual aspect of perimenopause and menopause. And people say, well, what did that got to do with spiritual? And it's because we are all whole within ourselves, a whole being of our mind, body, soul connection. And that we have this, everything has some sort of, it has some sort of emotional link, some sort of material link, and some sort of spiritual link, some sort of connection. And it's that aspect, the way that some of it is, it's like, the way that I kind of put this is that it happens when there's meant to be, it's the parts of ourselves that begins to break away and break free. It's that period of where, the parts of you, the you once were, it's like it goes through its own evolution. It's a shedding. And the way they look at menopause, in the way that this was given to me when I was exploring deeper into this, and this is not all there is, this is like a little piece, so don't come for me about this, but it's like this is a little tiny piece, a few words of this, is that the body, so the body is designed in a woman, is that once a woman begins to go through menopause, is that she's in her downward descent. She's descending, right? Is that's where she's beginning to go towards like the ending of life. You're in the back end of life. And it's the body literally thinks that it is preparing for like shutting down, preparing for like the old age and all of those things, and the kind of the death. So it's like things start shriveling up, or things start slowing down and stops working the way that it was. And spiritually, we're here to give birth back to ourselves, to be reborn, to regenerate ourselves, to really see, to reverse that narrative, that story. And so that we can begin to kind of find our way back into revitalizing and reviving this parts of who we are, and kind of debunking that story that we have been told. But also the body is in that cycle. But we have the opportunity through spiritual work, is that we can actually begin to kind of go through the ending process of life, and the things that are ending, and to come in through the rebirth again. Yeah. Like I'm being cremated before I'm dead. Yes, that's it. Yeah. Yes, Lindsay. Yeah. And so we don't look at it that way. And for those who don't know, I spent years behind the chair, and as a hairstylist and as an esthetician, my life work has been with women. And so for any men here, I work with men too, but the majority of my work and where I have been since I was a young girl has been with women. And there's not a story I have not heard. There's nothing that I have not seen. I have witnessed women go from being like living these very alive lives. They have like luscious hair, they have beautiful skin, their hair is beautiful. And overnight, they think it's like overnight because it's this slow descend process. Their hair loses its luster, the hair gets dry, it gets frizzy, and their hair begins to fall out. And it's all of these things that are slowing down in the body and that are decreasing in the body. And it's an internal job. And so they like, do you have a shampoo? Like, what can I put on my hair? And I'm like, it's not external, it's internal. It's what's happening in your body. It's the things that are happening inside. Spirituality is about what's happening inside. It's about the deep dive into your emotions. It's about the deep dive into the history of your life. It is about the resurrection of the parts of yourself that you've hidden away or that you didn't think you could ever be. And so it is about reviving and bringing back. And how do we bring that back? And it's not a one prescription fits everyone's life. And so we may have spent a lifetime struggling with like depression or um, addictions, anything like that. But that doesn't mean that that's our whole life and that it continues. It means we have the opportunity to really dive deep and explore it deeper and to begin a new journey, to begin to walk a new path, to bring about a resurrection of a newer version of ourselves, to find new solutions, new ways of doing things. But first and foremost, it is self-acceptance. It is radical, radical self acceptance and accepting where you are, because most people don't accept where they are in life. They get so angry at themselves. What am I doing wrong? Why is this happening to me? I'm so, it's like, oh, look at me. I'm gross. I'm disgusting. I'm not enough. All of those things instead of really accepting where we are. And it's our invocation. It's the invocation. Okay, so this is where I am. Then there's something here that I have to really nurture and have compassion for. And I learned that through having like going through the ends of menopause. I started premenopause at 30, 35, 36 years old. I had my cervix removed when I was 26 with cancer. And nobody told me, the gynecologist at the time didn't even say to me the repercussions of having that done. It was just taken out. And I never had that sense of somebody saying, like, we have to really look at this and how severe is this cancer cells that are there and like all of those things. And so by the time I was 36, 35, 36, I had like full ablation and then went through this menopause, went through like start going through premenopause. And I just remember going to my doctor and I sat down and I cried. And he was such a good friend of mine. And he knew I was a healer. He watched me heal. He watched me heal my daughter's foot. And he watched me take her from being told in the hospital that she would never be able to walk properly again to me breaking her out of the hospital and taking her home and having her walk again. Just that dedication. And he just said, I said, this is disgusting. I don't want to do this. And he just says, you have to walk through this. But he said, you have to you have to start being kinder to yourself. And so it is like really, this is the place of where we are. So during my back surgery, Lindsay, like during that time was what came up for me after the back surgery was a lot of that I carried a lot of resentment and I carried a lot of responsibility and I carried a lot of those things. So on a spiritual level, for anyone who's Lindsay asked the question, but this is for everyone, is that you don't realize what you carrying within and what you're holding within, and that these are times that we begin to really open our hearts. So surrendering is about opening up and allowing ourselves to do things in a different way than we would have done them before. So during the whole back thing, well, if this is where I am, I had to learn that I learned how to live from my spirit, because my pain in my body hurt so much that I would have to kind of live from my spirit, because other than that, I could have given up on life because the pain was so severe. But when I start to get to the place of existing with my spirit, was it's as if I was began to stop trying to push through the pain. I stopped trying to push through. I start to slow down. I start to really honor what my body was going through, but what took my body to the point of where it was. And that's a big part of our journey. So I will record I will record about the spiritual connection between, I'm going to write that down so I have it. I'm going to come back to everyone else's as well here, that if you're sharing, if you're asking anything, um, and spirituality. Okay. And then I seen Judy posted something. I had two dreams about Fred as if he was alive, so real. I wake up suddenly and realize that it was a dream. Is it a sign from him that he is not at peace? No, that's not it at all. He is alive. So Judy, he's not alive in human form. Like, that's a truth, right? We absolutely know he's left his human experience, but on a soul level, your your brother Fred is very alive. He's living. He's living in another realm in spirit form. And it's as if they appear like almost like holographic views to us, to show us how alive they are, that they are present with us. But we kind of separate ourselves because we often get so caught up in the human connection only, that we believe there's like this separation. But you are a spirit. You have a soul, right? You have a soul. You're a spirit. You're a ghost, right? You're a spirit. You have the same as what he has. And so that connection stays. But in your dreams is when your ego is out of the way. It's when all of your doubt is out of the way. All the things that would stop him from being able to reach you are not there, because your human is asleep. You are existing in the delta waves. And so you're in a place of where spirit can break through, because you're not in the way. Your head is not in the way. You're not trying to see things. You're not putting doubts and fears into it. This is where he can reach you. And so on a spiritual level, or on a spirit level, Fred is alive. And you allowing yourself to build that relationship with him is probably happening through your dreams. Maybe you're too busy. Maybe you got too much. Maybe there's anger. Maybe there's just so much hurt and pain that it's hard for him to be able to come through, because the energy is like it. When we come back, it's like a lower energy. It's denser. I'd like to say more denser. Like, here is like a denser energy. There is not dense. There is open. And so it is Fred in your dreams. It absolutely is Fred. And when you stop letting anyone cause you any doubt, and just you accept and you tell yourself, no matter what anyone else thinks, I know that's Fred. I know that's him in my dreams. And I know that's him because I feel that connection. I feel that love. And so when we come back, and then we just get caught in that energy, but he is there with you. And so he is at peace. The thing about spirit is that where he is, he doesn't have worry. He doesn't carry the stresses. He doesn't have any of those things. It's you who is not at peace, Judy. And it's you that is the one who, has to move more into understand what would that inner peace look like for me if I were to be living my life fully being at peace. So he is totally okay. And he's letting you know that he is okay, right? Having such a hard time with yes, his passing was so sudden, so unexpected. Fred was a big presence. And so for those wondering, like, I mean, I know Fred more than in spirit. I knew Fred. I knew her brother Fred, and I know Judy, not personally know them in this age in our lives, but when we were younger, we all grew up in Springdale, Newfoundland. And we all went to school together. Judy was one of the most prettiest girls in school. And I used to always say that. I say, Judy is one of the most beautiful girls ever. And her brother Fred was probably one of the most handsome. um, and so he was always that big, bright light. And he left a legacy behind. He left pieces and parts of him and his identity here on earth. And so his memory, he's in your memories. And in your memories, Fred exists. And Fred lives in those memories. And Fred is a part of those memories. He's a part of you. And he's also in your heart. So if you imagine, like, I sent this to my sister-in-law, Brenda, who's here, and it was something that another friend had shared, and it was about um, sparkles, right? Sparkles, and the sparkles being everywhere. And so just imagine as if it's like he left behind sparkles and you can't get the sparkles off of you, and everyone is sparkly. And it's like he's that. And the last thing he wants you to do is to live in misery, because we create our misery. Because when we're lost in our hurt and our grief, is that we forget that we can still be happy, that we can embrace the joy we still have here on earth, that you can still enjoy the people that you have, the opportunity to have experiences. You're here to live. You're here to feel alive and to be alive in your life. And the more that you are very alive in your life and you're living your best life, the more you're going to feel Fred. The more you're going to get that connection, the more signs you're going to see. But if you're not believing in the signs, because they speak through symbolism. Spirit communicates through symbolic symbols. So spirits will give you things. And so it's like dimes. It's like, well, they're just dimes. No, no. If it's a dime in your path and it stops you in your tracks and you pick it up, it's something, right? There is something there. So my brother-in-law, when Wade passed away, or before Wade passed and moved into heaven, few years before that, he always amused Brenda and I in our big stories and our conversations and our talks and we had a collection of dimes, and he made us these boards, and he cut out a heart, and it was for us to glue our dimes on. A few weeks ago, when we only just had a celebration life, and and I came home, and it's the whole experience. It's such a beautiful experience. And then you come home, and I'm just like putting clothes in a dryer, and I felt myself be mad. I'm like, I'm mad you're gone. Because we heard his voice in the videos. We watched the videos. I'm like, I'm fucking mad you're gone. You're not here. Like, you were such a special part of my life, Wade. And I'm putting clothes in the dryer, and I'm throwing it in the dryer because I'm mad. And as I'm throwing it in, a dime bounces out of my dryer and lands by my feet. And Wade had always, like, he knew our relationship with dimes. And I just started to laugh. And I just went, oh my God. And I knew it was my brother-in-law. I knew it was Wade. And he was trying to make me laugh. He was trying to get me to shift my awareness, to move my energy. And so in the laughter, in the joy, I could hear him laugh. I could feel him laugh. I knew he was there. And you just got to move into the place of where you just trust what you are receiving is those that you love. And when you can really start to trust in that, and just, I know, I don't even have to tell anyone. I don't have to share with anyone. It don't matter. It doesn't matter. It's my experience. So it's your experience. with your loved ones. It's the symbols they give you. It's how they show up in your life. And so, yeah, but he's not suffering. He's not struggling. But what the hard part, Judy, that I want to, bring back for you is that you are very much, there's a whole awareness. There's a part of you that's still living in the shock, like still standing in the point in the place of when you found out Fred passed. And you've gone through the motions of living since then, but the shock and being stuck there. And if I were to give you anything of a guidance, is the threads that take you back to that place is you got to take yourself there and move yourself from there and to see where you are now, to see where you are now, and that you've come this far, and that now we got to move from the first day of his passing and move into where we are now. So where am I now? Because he's not in the first day of his passing. He's not living in the day that he passed. That's not where he's living. He has ascended. He's transcended his human experience. He's living in another time. Definitely, right? And so that's where your healing begins for anyone. For anyone, you really got to take that. It's energetically. Imagine energetically that you just go back and you take the hand of yourself. Hold your own hand. Imagine just taking the hand of yourself in those moments of where you're still standing in shock, or your energy is stuck, and you're just like, okay, okay, we've done some big things. It's time for us to move. Like, let's see the you that has walked further than this, that we've come further than this, that we've done this. And that begins a healing journey. And that's what I do. That's the things that I do. I help guide people through the transition. It's not just as a medium, it's not just about giving the message about your loved ones. It's that, but the messages are one thing, but what are you going to do with the messages? Because they're transforming in spirit world. They're growing in spirit world. They're healing. They've resolved all of those things. Like, they bring back that wisdom to that world. And so it's, as a medium, I always say I'm not the circus act. I don't like to be seen as just the circus act that I just come in and like pop out a bunch of messages and that's all that I do, because that's not all that I do. And so it's when you got the message, it's about then the work that we do together. It's about being, it's about the continual work. So when I work with people, whether and it's not a one-time deal, it is, you can do one-time sessions, of course, but it's about the continual as you're going through the stages and the phases. And as you're going through the stages and the phases, that you start to move forward. And it's like, who are we on the other side of the grief? There's no going back, right? There's no going back. But can we live again? Can I be alive again? Yes, absolutely. What can I do with this? And so there's so much that we can, there's so much to be gained through allowing yourself to go through the transformation. Yes, we'll be 1 year, August the 15th. Yeah. And so you got to show yourself some grace, girl. Like, you're not even at the year. Like, you haven't even made it through the first year. Like, you're not at the year. So being gentle, this is being gentle to yourself, being compassionate towards yourself. Every day is not going to be a good day, but knowing that he's there with you in your dreams, that's massive. And so, yeah. Hello to everyone. Oh, thank you, Sharon. And Ellie, I just seen before I came in, I was going to message you after. Thank you so much for your donation to me. I really appreciate it. I missed you last time. I'm not doing an actual reading, Alicia, not tonight. I just stopped in to talk and to ask people, like, what would you like for me to talk about? I'm going to record some. I'll come back in again. Probably it might be tomorrow or next night, but my husband just went back to work, so now I have my evenings free for 6 days, 5 or 6 days. So I got time to do some lives, and I'll be back in probably maybe tomorrow night, and I'll do some readings. I would say probably tomorrow night. And I'll do some readings with everyone, not everyone, but as many as I can get in. But I just wanted to talk, like, let's just talk, because people need to just talk. We have, and I'm really noticing that when I am connecting with people. And I'm going back on the road starting in the fall, by the way, guys. I'll be going back to Newfoundland. I have a fairly big event that I'm in the process of trying to work out the details of, um, or I'm trying to sort it out in my head. Um, but I will be going back out and doing shows again starting in the fall. Hopefully, I just have to make sure everything aligns for taking care of all of my animals. Um, but in the meantime, what I've been getting from people is people just want to talk. People just need to have conversations. And so a big part of what's coming up for me is to just have conversations. And so, what do you want me to talk about? What are things that you would like for me to, or what is it that you have happening in your life that, so Alicia, let me ask you this. I want to go back. Let me go back. Because you might have something, Alicia, that is pressing, or that may be a topic of conversation that sometimes we think nobody else will understand, or nobody else is going through things. So if it is something that you can openly, like, ask me a question that I can talk about generally, put it in the comments and let me see if I can unravel some of this for you, Alicia. Heather, if one passes while getting sober, will they be an addict in their next life? Mm, my first response to that was no. That's not a guaranteed. Um, no, no. There that the human journey that they are existing in leaves. So when they say ashes to ashes, like, that's it. There's only when you die, you die. When this human dies, right? Like, that human experiences are now done. And so in the human experiences that they would have been in, is they have completed that cycle somehow. And so, can they be an alcoholic in another lifetime if they ever come back? Possibly, if they make bad choices, or not. I don't want, no, wrong word, not bad choices. If they make choices that does not align to their soul, is it possible? Yes, anything is possible. Anything is possible. And so, because anything is possible, it could be, but no, it's not something that, because they're not going to be remembering that experience. If it's another lifetime, they're coming back to their mission might be totally different. They might have whole different soul contracts that they have to align to. Will they meet similarities? Maybe. Will they know that? Yes. Will the soul possibly have some unmet journey? Yeah. But in the end, the leaving here while getting sober was actually leaving knowing they were doing something right for their lives. So your loved ones, the person that you're probably talking about, is that they left on a level, they left knowing that they were doing something right. Right? They were accomplishing something that was very powerful and very sacred when they left this earth. That's what I just got from that for you. So you're welcome. And I'll answer yours after Sharon, but I'm going to go to Alicia's here. How would you tell the difference between manifesting and intuition? I find myself, I don't know if I'm overthinking something and then manifesting something negative, or if it's just my intuition telling me that something negative is going on. You could be manifesting your experiences, yes. Manifestation and intuition are not the same at all. They're not. Intuition, right? Intuition, well, there's our primal instincts and our built-in knowing that we have. And then there is intuition. Um, and manifestation is creating, right? Manifestation is creating. Intuition doesn't create anything. Intuition does not create anything. Manifestation is creating something. It's working with the mind, it's working with the imagination, and it's in our ability to be able to bring something to life. And so the intuition is more of the knowing. It is, or it could be the gut feeling. And so when we look at it in the way of, you know, is it my intuition telling me that something negative is going on? Let's change the language. Your intuition is guiding you to look at things differently. It's not about negative or positive. It's not about good or bad. It's your intuition is saying something is not aligned or something needs deeper exploring. That learning to trust yourself. Because sometimes what we're trying to manifest is not for our highest good. And that's the thing with manifestation. Are you manifesting for your highest good or to get what you want? Right? Is it just because I want something, I've had these wishes and I just want things to work out how I want it to work out? Or is it, right? Or is it truly something of my highest good? Is it something that I just know that my life will thrive, that if I have this, it is going to benefit my life in a positive way, or is it going to be a healthy influence in my life? Is it going to influence my life in a way that allows me to align to living my best life? And so if it is just a want and a desire, or trying to get somebody else to kind of be the person that you want them to be in your life, and you're trying to manifest like the perfect relationship with somebody, and you want it to be this specific person, is that you have to take the specific person out of the equation, and you got to move the specific person out of the equation, and you got to look at it in the way as, I want a relationship that is healthy, that is where I can truly be me. And so what probably is negative is the fact that then truth is being revealed to you. And so because truth is being revealed to you, it is just saying what you're trying to manifest, what you're trying to make happen it doesn't have all the ingredients to be for your highest good. So manifestation works with the mind, right? It works with the mind. Our intuition comes from that place of just saying, I don't know, but I just know, right? And so it's a faith. Intuition is really built in having to have faith. It's having faith, and it's having faith in ourselves. And so they're not the same at all. And so, am I overthinking something? Very good possibility that you are overthinking, is that your ego is involved. You're overthinking. You're trying to be in control. Your human self is very involved. So the ego is very involved. And it's the fear that if I'm not involved, then things won't work out how I want them to work out. Getting our wants and getting our needs met are two different things. Having what is in alignment to living our highest good versus having just the life that I think I should have and how I think it should be, that's thinking, right? And so you are overthinking. You're overthinking. And so I'm going to give you something to do. If you want to manifest something, I want you to write out who's this for? Is what I'm asking for, who's it for? What version of me wants this? What version of me wants this? And is this what I really want? Is this what I really need? And then ask yourself, what is it I really truly want to manifest in my life? And then let your pen guide you to writing out whatever it is, but be specific. You have to be specific. And so you write it out, and then I want you to just tuck it away, fold it up, put it in an envelope, and put your name on it, and put "to my future self" on here, and say, open it again in 6 months, and don't look at it again, and go about living your life. Go about living your life. And then when you go back to it in, say, 6 months, you'll see some of those things beginning to unfold in your life. You'll see them starting to come into your life. And it might not all be there, and it might not look exactly as you think it's going to look, because you're trying to think it in, you're trying to create that. But our imagination has a limitation. And so that sense of manifesting on from the limited place, what is of our highest good, and what, say, the divine has for us, or what our soul knows is there for us to receive, could be so much more than we can imagine. And so I want you to really look at doing that journaling part of it, putting it away, so that you can see how busy your mind is. To see how busy your mind is. And that's what I got for you for now. Sharon asked, is there a way to encourage our loved ones to come to our dreams? You can ask them. You can ask when you're going to sleep. So when I go to sleep every night, I do my prayers, and you're probably going to laugh at this, but do you know the little girl prayer that you say when you're like a little girl and little boy? Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. I still say that prayer. I've been saying that prayer since I was a little tiny girl. And I say it every night. There's not a night where I don't say it. And then, of course, I add, you're very welcome, Alicia. I add on to it, of course, in an adult way. And I give gratitude and thanks every night and I ask for, things for people in the world, and for there to be, healing and resolutions and stuff. And then when I'm going to sleep, I always say to the angels, and when I go to sleep, take me to heaven. Take me to heaven when I sleep. Take me with the angels, bring me to where the angels are, and let me go to where the angels are for when I sleep. And take me home while I sleep. So you can always, when you're going to sleep, it's a practice, because you got to just let the thought go after, but just say to your loved ones, is that while I sleep, I would love for you to come. Can you please visit me? Can you please visit me in my sleep? And they might not, it might be very different from the way that you think they're going to come. Sometimes they come very symbolic. So, like I said, it could be an animal spirit they show. You might get a dog come. You might get the dogs of your loved ones come. But eventually you'll just start to feel something different. And so they can come. Not everyone dreams, and not everyone is connected with dream state. But it's a practice. And when you start to practice that, what you're saying is like, okay, I'm out of the way. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to do any of those things. I won't be there. My soul will be there. And so on a soul level, that soul to soul connection, right? Spirit to spirit connection, come to me. I ask of you, I command you, come to me, come speak to me. I would love to see you. I'd love to hear from you. And what you're saying is, I am available. I am available for loved ones, for spirit, anything that's of the highest good, though, not for everything. I'm available for what's of the highest good to come to me and speak to me. And just keep doing that every night when you go to bed, and just be faithful to it, like prayers. Just be faithful to it, and watch and see. Something will happen. It'll come. Yeah, Carla. Yes, I agree. I like Heather's topic. I like that, and I could really make a topic about that, because also, so when we look at addiction, we often just look at addictions like alcohol and drugs, but addictions are things such as your your phone, social media, food addiction, right? Relationship codependency, those type of things, right? Being addicted to being in love. Like, how many people just fall in love like this, and they're always like, oh, I just love love and I'm just always in love. It's like, no, there's something deeper here, and it's a solution. It's a solution to something that is unresolved. And so it's not love. It's not love, right? And so you're addicted to the excitement, to the thrill. And sometimes people have like that addiction to the adrenaline, right? Adrenaline rush, or the euphoria of lust, and just that, the thrill of jumping into a relationship. And then when it gets boring, or it gets real, then when it gets real, they disconnect. Then escapism comes in. And so it's patterns, right? And these are all patterns, and we all have these patterns, or we have these unresolved, unhealed. And it's like, and it's that sense of accountability that we have, of saying, you know what, i'm going to I'm going to begin to explore this. It doesn't mean I'm going to fix it right away. It doesn't mean I'm going to have all the answers, but I'm going to begin to explore this. I'm going to explore my whys, and why this has hold over me. And so the spiritual connection, and getting to that spiritual connection, is, that sense that leaves us overshadowed. I love love. I say it all the time. I love love. Well, there you go, Lindsay. Right? And so, yeah, something to explore. Look at me. 2 drinks on the go here. Water with Mio, because the little brat in me just says, I don't like water, but I have to drink water. And then I wanted this mocha thing, iced mocha thing, but I don't drink this stuff. But I seen it in the fridge and thought, oh, I should probably have that now. I don't drink this. So it's sugary. And I try not to have much sugary things. Um, and so, yes, so I think that's another topic that I would like to explore. They don't have to believe, Heather. Um, yes, because of all the torment of the soul in human life. We were just starting to pull oracle cards when he passed. I knew he is at peace and he's happy now, right? And so, yes, and so, Heather, yeah, like, it's like, I always say, they don't have to believe, but what's out there always believes in us. There's always something bigger than us, and we don't have to label it. And I think people get very caught up in because we're so conditioned and so programmed and feared into a belief system, is that we don't have to label it, right? Is that, and I always say, it's like, it's not this big energy's fault why humans behave how they behave. The reason why humans do the things they do is because humans have free will. Angels don't have free will. Angels don't have free will. That they don't have the free will. They work for and of service only to that highest good. Humans have been given a free will choice. And because everyone has a darkness in us. And so I'm going to kind of blend this with the addiction part of it, is that if somebody has hurt somebody in their earlier years, I always say, imagine your spotlight. So imagine, when you go to like a show or something, and they have like the big spotlights on the ceiling, and then they shine like all those different colors. The lights are not a different color. They're all white. They use jelly filters. You go see a band and they have like the big rows of lights. They put they put film over them. That's a film. And the film is colored so that it gives like a red, a blue, a green. So when somebody takes a little light, a beautiful little light, and hurts a beautiful little light, they put a film of their darkness, their blackness over. That's like, just to give like an example. But they, like, just say it's a black filler. and then that goes over the light. So then when the light is shining and you're looking in the reflection in the mirror, you can't see your light, and you see the darkness. Like you see yourself as not good enough. You see there's something wrong. And so that hurt, that pain, that struggles. And so a part of you becomes that. Imagine that filler has an identity. So you kind of become a piece and a part of all of those people who have somehow hurt, and their attachments. And unknowingly, unconsciously, is that we mistreat ourselves because we have been mistreated, because that part of that identity is stuck with us. Like there's something that is, it's like a Klingon energy. And so if we take the filter back off the light and we begin to see the light, eventually we begin to gain clarity. But first we got to remove the filter. And when you can lift the filter starts to lift, then we can see. But it's, in the human existence is that we all have choices. And some people choose to do harm and hurt onto others, which doesn't which is dumb, but we also wouldn't have the free will to love who we want to love or to live the life we want to live. We wouldn't have the free will to make our own choices. And that's what we fight hard for. That's what we're fighting hard for in life right now. Because if we were under such control, we're not put here to be so controlled. But we all have we all have the choice to do the right thing. And not everybody does the right thing. And that's a truth, right? And that's hard for people to see or to understand, because when somebody has to be, when it's like, how can this be happening, is, well, it's because of that free will choice. And it's like, and it's happening because that person who has now let a filter over theirs has turned them dark, made them angry, that somebody else has to pay the price. They don't know where to put that energy. And so, yeah, I can include all of that in a YouTube recording. Yes, your brain is nonstop. That prayer was on a quilt made by my aunt in my childhood bedroom for years. I still have my plaque. I still have my plaque with it on. I literally still have my it's packed with my pictures, my baby book, and I still have it. Tara, I'm a very vivid dreamer. I'm going to try that before sleep. Yeah, give that a go. I seen you had something. Oh, a dear friend of mine took his life 3 months ago. When they do their life review, do they get to see the life they could have had if they chose to stay alive? What they see is what they always tell me when they come is that they tell me that they could see they couldn't see while they were here the love and support that was there. They could only see what wasn't there. They could only focus. They were so hyper focused what was missing and what not was there. What wasn't, they couldn't see what was there. And so they always will say to me, Tara, that um, I pretty much, like, almost everyone that comes through that has passed by suicide, they'll always say, if I could have seen the love and support that was there for me, if I could have only focused on the people who loved me and not been focused on the people who didn't, right? If I still wasn't seeking validation, if I still wasn't seeking validation, if I wasn't still looking for someone's approval, right? Like, if I only. And so, when they leave that way, there's often that sense of they've kind of exhausted their life. But when they were just so tired, they're so tired of that fight. But when they get there, and it's like the rest, it's like coming out of fight or flight, right? So it's like they were in survival mode, in a panic survival mode, in fight or flight, living in fear. But once they get there and the fear is not there, and it's like this ultimate rest, like the body's just like that big relief, then they could see what they couldn't see, because they become blinded by what is overshadowing them, right? There's an overshadowing that is happening. And when that overshadowing lifts, they gain clarity. So in the spirit, they see clarity and they see all the people who love them. And that's why they're always trying to that's why they're always shining their light upon the people who they know love them. It's like, if I had have only known. It's the shoulda, coulda, wouldas of life. And that shoulda, coulda, wouldas that people have and just don't, it's like, if we just could just know, if we could know how much love and support does exist here. And that comes back to, what I'm saying about my weekend's energy update. So you can read it and you can also go listen to it. It's like significance. If people really understood the value that they bring into the lives of others, if we spend more time teaching about value and about how valuable everyone is, rather than spending rather than that you got to go chase this purpose is what we do, right? And it's like, if we were taught more about how valuable we were and how our presence matters, and how, our presence is wanted. You're wanted in people's lives. You're not just needed, but you're wanted. People want you to be there. And we forget that, right? And so they get to see that. They see the significance that they get to see their significance. They get to see their value. And so the overshadowing is gone, and its clarity appears. And in the clarity they see, and they see the love and the support that's been around them. Jackie has come only once, very vividly, and a voice. She loves you. It woke me up and I felt bad for waking. Yeah, no. So yeah, you got pushed out is what happened. You kind of, you were probably not wholly as fully, like, it probably woke you up somewhat. And so it startled you. And that's why you don't feel bad for waking up, is that was probably the only part of the message that was going to be there. So you have heard from Jackie, you have seen her. And so, yeah, so when I talked about that passing in my back surgery, the first person that appeared was Jackie. um, and so, yeah, you are making that connection. So don't feel bad about waking up. Eventually you won't wake up. You'll stay there and it'll come through. How can we learn to let go of pain in our lives and bring in peace? Where is a good place to start? Danielle, that's a good question. That's a very good question. So, how can we learn to let go of pain? So, I always say, let's change the language first. Let's rephrase what we're approaching. So, it's not about letting go of the pain. It's about recognizing the pain for what it is, and that the extension of the pain is the misery. And the misery is what we put ourselves through, right? It's what we put ourselves through. It's like looking through the looking glass of the, oh, if I only, or what if I had have done this. It's the what ifs, right? Oh, what if this had been different, or what if I had only did this, or oh, I should be doing this and I'm not. It's the pressures that we place upon ourselves that causes us the misery. So if we stop the stories that create the misery, then it takes the pressure off the pain. And that would be the letting go, is that you release the pressures that you place upon yourself, or that overthinking that is coming, or adding more to the pain story than needs to be added. So when we stop adding tension, and we stop adding, like, the conflict to the pain, when we stop doing those things, when we stop being unkind to ourselves, that's where we begin. And so being able to make peace with what was or what is not about chasing some sort of peace. It's about recognizing this has happened, and pain has found its way into my life. pain finds its way into our lives. And there's not any of us in this world that in one way or the other that's going to escape grief, loss, pain. We're all going to feel it because it is all life, right? But it doesn't dismiss your personal pain stories. So if when we have a pain experience happen in our lives, is that that one pain is like a ripple effect for all the life pains. So your body begins to respond from all the life pains because the nervous system and the body and the muscle memory in the body, like it can't decipher your memories and your experience. So everything becomes one big smorgasbord. So what is it? What is the, it's kind of like, well, let's work on the surface first. And what are some of those pain stories that are easier for me to release and to resolve and release so that I can start to release the pressure so that I can let this go. So we do it in like baby steps, little steps. And then we get to the big source, right? The big source of the pain. So working on in levels, but also kind of rephrasing that to ourselves. And so what is the misery that I'm putting myself through? How unkind am I being to myself? And where can I begin to be kinder to myself? And pain has entered my life and entered my world. And because pain is visiting and pain is walking through, then I have to recognize that it's there, but I don't have to make friends with the pain. I don't have to stay with the pain. I have to recognize the pain. And so what is the big pain and what is all those little pain stories? Because I feel like it's like a collection of like throughout life. And then we just start healing, start resolving one little piece at a time. And so this is how we begin to bring peace in. It's being able to make peace with all those little tentacles, so all those little stories that are of the past, so that we can focus on the one big one. And so I would say for you, I would write out your misery story. So what I mean by that is write down all of those thoughts that you get in the head in your head about how, what have I ever done wrong? What am I doing wrong? If only I have done this, and all the if only or the what if stories, and begin to release those. Because when you can see the truth of those, you begin to see the little white lies that we tell ourselves so that we can keep feeding our pain. We have to stop feeding the pain, right? So stop feeding into the pain and nurture where you are, and nurture it in such a loving way that you're just saying, I'm going to be honest with myself here, and I'm going to be compassionate with myself. And that's where it all begins. But start writing it out so that you can see all the things that adds pressure and tension to your life, and let's start removing that first. That would be a good start. So yeah, Lindsay, I know that is a confusing story. So that's when so I think this is where it's where that blending of the rebel comes in, is they find the loophole, right? There's like a loophole there somewhere. I just asked that. There's like a loophole. And so there's not, they don't have they don't have our human free will kind of choice. But that's where fallen angels begin to fall, is in looking into the reflection of another life and another world. And so they have a consciousness. They have access to the consciousness. Let's put it that way. They have access to the consciousness, right? They have access to the consciousness. They have access to the knowing. Yeah. And I'm not going down that rabbit hole tonight though. But they have access to the consciousness. They have access to the knowing, but they have some level of of reins of control, where they're being given responsibilities, right? They're being given responsibilities, and sometimes they lack with the fallen angel stories, right? Um, and so I did learn this, that when I wrote about the Lucifer experience as an angel, so as the fallen angel stories, like, did you really think they really let me go? Do you really think I still don't work for? But my job is to kind of scare people out of making the bad choice. So I'm still there. I'm still working. I just have to wear an ugly mask so that I can scare people out of making bad choices. But people just don't listen. That's basically, yes. Well, Beth, I'm glad you connected here as well. And hello, everyone else. Talking to you again. Tara, he was always looking for validation, and I know he tried to break out of that need, but couldn't. Yeah. So a lot of addictions tie into, it wasn't yesterday's post that I posted, but the day before that, or yeah, earlier this week. And it was the destination happiness. And it's the trap. The destination happiness is the someday trap. And we get so caught up in the someday trap, right? It's like, or when I'm enough, or when I have enough money, or when I'm skinny enough, or when. And so it's always that search, and it's that when I have validation, or when I've achieved this, I'll be happy. When I have this money, I'll be happy. Or when I lose this weight, I'll be happy. And I'm like, that's the destination happiness trap. That's an illusion, right? And it's always chasing something we can never catch. It's like chasing peace. You cannot chase peace and find peace. You cannot chase love and find love. You cannot have a heart filled with resentment and be able to be at peace at all, right? And so it's always that sense of chasing something, but it's always like spinning the wheel backwards. Yeah. And so I hope that helps a little bit of the explanation. Is there a connection with the need for validation? Absolutely, there is. Absolutely, there is. It takes people to a low place to never feel like they're enough. So in my More Than Existing program, when I was teaching about self-esteem, I said, just think about this for a moment. Every time our self-esteem originally is often built on other people's thoughts that become words that then become our thoughts. So what people tell us we are, we begin to believe. So then when you look in the mirror and in the reflection, and you see other people's thoughts looking back, because that's what you're perceiving, because all you're seeing is pixels. So then you're connecting into the memories, and you're creating an image, and that image you're creating is then of what you have been told. If you've been told you were useless, you're no good, you're not enough, or not even told, if the way that people react, the way that people behaved in your life was that you didn't matter, you didn't, like, they didn't even know, you were neglected, you were betrayed, you were not cared for the way you should be cared for, you would have created a belief system. And that all becomes the contributing factors to the self-esteem. And then you build up false confidence, and it's the shadow's confidence. We build up that shadow, and then we live in the primal parts of that existence, and we believe that to be ourselves. So oh, they appear so confident. No, they're wearing the clothes of confidence. They're creating a strut, a walk, a fuck you, a rebel. I don't care about no one. I can do this, or I'm going to be the top of the world, and I'm going to do this. But it's built on a weak foundation, and when it's built on the weak foundation, the foundation crumbles. And when the foundation crumbles, it doesn't take much to crumble it, because they're always looking over to see who's watching, to see who's seeing those accomplishments, instead of being able to see themselves and to do things for themselves, instead of instead of for the validation of others. So is there a link? Absolutely, there is a link. Yes. Tammy, I think about my loved ones every time I'm upset because I have lost most of my family members, right? 5 brothers and my dad and my sister. I'm down to my mom and 2 sisters and my brother. Yes. And sadly, that's, it's like I listened to this the other day and someone said eventually there'll only be one person in the family left standing. There will be that one person who will watch all the rest of their family leave, right? Because ending is inevitable. Timing, we don't know the timing. Sometimes it's the fates, right? It's the life, it's the lifetime of the soul's time here on earth. And so it's like it's always witnessing, like you're witnessing these things. It is happening. It's like, so living our lives for them and living the best life that we can, because that's what they always want us to do, is somehow be alive. What are we going to do? What are we going to do with the time we have here on earth? Because you're not getting the time back. So imagine the time that we just frivolously just slip through our hands, the time that we get caught up in being obsessed with drama, or obsessed with um, our phones, or always trying to be a pleaser, trying to fix things for everyone, and trying to make everything right, trying to perfect life instead of living life, right? And it's like the time that slips through our hands, and we don't look at time as being the most valuable thing that we have, because we don't have all the time. We don't have all the time in the world. We have the time that we are given to be here, and what we're going to do with that time is what matters. Yeah, so everyone is here to be seen, right? And that being seen really begins with us, right? It's a basic human need. It is in the it's in the oh god, the Maslow's chart, the Maslow's pyramid of our basic needs, is that connection, right? It is connection. We're here to make connections. We're here to be appreciated, to be seen. And so that is, we're all to be seen, but the person who has to see us is, we have to see ourselves. We have to see ourselves. And when we begin to see ourselves, right, to see our real self, to see our real self, not the mask, not the personas that we've created, but to see who we were before the world told us who we're not. To see who we were before the world told us who we were not. And that's the version that we have to see. Yes. All right. So I'm not doing individual messages tonight, Sharon. Um, we were just having we're just having conversation, but different topics. Um, does she have a message? So I'm not channeled into anyone tonight, but Sharon. She's always there. She's always there, and keep talking to her. Always talk to your loved ones. I talk to my loved ones all day long. I talk to spirit all day long. It's what I do. It's like, for me, and not all mediums all have their own relationship with spirit. Like how we work with spirit depends. I'm born this way. I didn't go in and say I want to open up my mediumship. I was born talk. I've always spoken to spirit, but one of my grandchildren is the same way. I had movies in my eyes, and I would have movies, and they go. And my granddaughter says to her mother one day out of the blue, she said, "Mom, it's movies. I have movies in my eyes." And so, but when I speak to spirit, it's just like sitting down talking to you, and spirit communicates back and forth to me. And so I have all out conversations. Other people go in and it's just like getting validations, getting just messages, getting like just information, but it's conversation. So spirit becomes the guides. Spirit becomes the guides that helps me to help the people that they love. And then all the guides that I have, they work with me to bring forth any of the wisdom or messages that is needed. And so the problem is we stop talking. When our loved ones pass, when they're here, you talk to them. And how many times do we end up not talking to our loved ones because we just get into these disagreements and stuff? But if you don't stop talking, communication, either on earth and on the other side, is everything. And the biggest thing that we have is people don't have a healthy relationship with the ability to communicate. And this is the opening of our energy center here. And so this is a connection between getting to our third eye, getting to the connection to our intuition, because we have the intuition that is down here, and then we have the intuition that's up here. And so we have the higher, we have the lower, right? And so this intuition is like everything travels through from here to there, and then out, in and out, in and out, in and out. So it's the in and out. And we all have this connection. And so the problem is we stop communicating because our loved ones leave. When they leave, we stop communicating. They're like knocking on a door, knocking on a wall, knocking on a window, going, hello, I'm here, you're not, because you're over here sitting down in in your grief or in your pain. And it's not to discount the don't this is not to discount it, but just going, oh, I just wish I could see him, I wish I well, just talk, just speak to them, right? And so yeah, just keep talking to her, because you may not be hearing her back, but if you start to look around and start to pay attention, she's communicating through songs, she's communicating through words, through magazine covers, walking down the grocery store aisle and you walk past the magazines. Do you know how many messages I read on magazine covers as I'm walking past? If I'm in a low, the messages they give me, the confirmation they give me, the kick in the ass that I get just from magazines, from the magazine catching my attention as I'm walking past. And I'm like, well, there's a sign, there's a message. That's pretty clear, right? And so, or the little things that are around us. So yeah, just keep talking to her and just keep showing up. But that's what I have for everyone tonight. And hello, Tracy. I'm glad you made it home. um, Thank you for coming in. I so enjoyed these conversations, and I love having these conversations with you. Thank you for the suggestions of things to record for YouTube for you. I'm going to start creating some of those little series and recording some of those. And I want to be able to share that, but I want to have more talks. And of course, I'm still going to do your readings and stuff, but I want to be able to have more talks. I want to share this. And so if you want to study more about the things that I talk about, go into the academy. The More Than Existing Academy of Higher Consciousness is a place that it has a lot of free content, a lot that we have just massively discounted. It's courses that I have previously taught, that we have edited, and what is visible without previous students in them, we've had to delete that. But all of my teaching material is all available in those courses, and you can download them and put them in your dashboard. It doesn't cost anything to sign up into the academy. The academy is free, and you can then put them in Yeah. I agree. Yeah, we can absolutely do a tea talk. I would love to do a tea talk with you. Yeah, yeah, like we did at Gypsy Road. I love that. I love that. That was so good. And so yeah, let's do it. Um and so yeah, so in on my YouTube last focus. So on my YouTube channel, there's playlists, and in the playlist, there's meditations in there as well. There's some of my classes, my previous classes. You can listen to some of those. But in the academy, go sign up. Some of the things, and Lisa has a whole bunch of human design stuff. We have the astrology stuff, which is not free. They're like, but that's for like your whole year type of thing. And so those are like $49, and that is packed with like 7, 8 hours of teaching for each zodiac sign. Like it took us so long to record those. Um, those are available. And then I have a new course. I have a new mystical realm archetype uh, like training certification program coming up in September as well, and that's an 8-week program. But that one's a paid program, but I have payment options for those things. But all I have so much free. There's like so much happening right now that are so big, discounted, and free that go check them out. Go sign up. Go in the academy and just go check it out. All right. I will chat with you all later. Thank you for your questions and for bringing up the topics. I so appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll be back and we'll do some readings. I send you so much love. Much love. Bye-bye.